Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to shed some light on economic subject given by no one else but John Maynard Keynes. John Maynard Keynes has made a defining position for himself in the spectrum of economy. Best economist of 20th century is even today considered Dr. John Maynard Keynes. In 1930, John Maynard Keynes was at the top of the tree in economic sphere. Even IMF. In 1944, IMF idea was also devised and a program was framed and every single thing was promulgated by John Maynard Keynes. Keynes was the biggest hand behind IMF. And it was John Maynard Keynes who actually brought the American Great Depression to end. Great Depression in America lasted from 1929 to 1939. And thanks to Keynes, this depression ended and American economy went back to the track. The same Keynes has given this mantra, pump priming. Pump priming means when government sees that some sector which are very vital, very valuable, very viable, sectors are struggling to survive. So when they struggle to survive, government is going to provide them all kinds of capital needs, all kinds of funding, whatever that sector needs, government is willing to provide with generosity, with open arms. And that is known as pump priming. Today we are going to elaborate 4 points pertaining to pump priming. The concept is given by no other than 20th century, the greatest polymath in economy, known as John Maynard Keynes. John Maynard Keynes is not obscure name, but every single student of economy has heard, must have read about him, and every student must be familiar about his all achievements. The biggest achievement was IMF, and second biggest was to tame the American Great Depression. Both the tasks were actually accomplished during 1930s. 4 points that I have actually chosen are this. Point number 1 is investing heavily in weak but viable sector. When government sees that some sector, like say for example IT or manufacturing sector, has become very weak and draining away the capital, and the sector actually has been struggling to keep its head out of the water, and capital is dwindling away, jobs are dwindling away, tax payment, tax revenues also dwindling away, and every single thing is deteriorating. At that time, the Indian government would think about pump priming, meaning government is going to open its treasury, open its exchequer, open its wallet to that company, and whatever the need of the company is, government is definitely going to provide generously with open arms. And when that particular sector is strengthened, when that sector has become morally and mighty, then whatever the government has invested in that sector is going to pay back every penny that sector has borrowed from the government as a loan. But if government has given any kind of aid or grant, then sector is not obliged to pay back. But nevertheless, the motive is exclusively one, and that exclusive motive is that government is actually trying to bring that sector back on the track, and government is going to prevent the sector from sinking. Point number 2 is vital strategy to boost vital sector. That is the best strategy in economy that anybody has given. Even Keynes has given this is the best strategy in economy. According to this strategy that any kind of sector, any kind of business which is actually nose diving into the debt or into any kind of recession, depression, insolvency, then according to Dr. Keynes and his strategy known as pump priming is going to bring that sinking business back to swim. Sinking business is going to swim, and the business which is deep into debt is going to come out of the debt and again become a viable, profit-making making business for the nation, creating jobs, creating profit, creating taxes, serving the needs of the society, prospering the society again. Point number 3, weaker sector gets adrenaline boost. Adrenaline is a human pheromone, a kind of hormone. And adrenaline hormone is so strong. Those people who are very strong have high secretion of adrenaline, and those people who are weak, they have opposite, means a low secretion of adrenaline. It has been said that when adrenaline secretion begins, then energy surge, strength surge is a phenomenon. And someone has given this example that a woman who is 45 years old and 45 pounds, and she sees that her child is under the wheel of the car. This woman's adrenaline boost will surge so much that this 45-kilo woman is going to lift up the rear part of the car, lift up the car and get her child out of the car's wheel. She never knew that she has that kind of adrenaline boost. We also don't know what kind of adrenaline boost we have. But when we work, when the time comes, when some emergency occurs and adrenaline boost is needed, then all adrenaline boost will ipso facto automatically will surge. That is the strength. Here we have used this adrenaline boost to giving strength to economy, giving strength to those weaker sectors, but vital sectors. And when pump priming is given, lots of money is invested by the government, by other sectors, then this sector actually gets the adrenaline boost, which becomes very, very robust, very phenomenon, Herculean sector. Point number 4 is stopping recession and accelerating growth. Fundamental purpose behind pump priming is to stop recession. When government sees that recession has been going on and most of the companies are actually losing profit because their volume is actually dwindled away, government is going to pump prime or put lots of money by quantitative easing. Every company is going to get the loan from the bank because the government is going to reduce the interest rate to only 2 or 3%, and those companies which are in capital crunch, these capital crunch companies are going to run to the bank and borrow whatever they want. Government is also going to introduce some aid, some grants, and this way government is going to try to stamp out, try to end, terminate recession in the nation, because if government is not going to take care of the recession, then recession is going to culminate into depression. And then pump priming would not help. Pump priming can work as long as the economy is in recession. But once the economy is in depression, the pump priming does not work. So this way government is going to pump prime and the recession will be stamped out and acceleration in economy will be triggered. trigger soon and trigger rapidly so that recession can be killed fast and furious. If recession is not killed fast and furious, then recession has a tendency to convert into or morph into or culminate into depression. And when America suffered from the depression of 10 years from 1929 to 1939, entire economy of America was wiped out. So whenever the depression occurs, the economy of the nation does not get weaker or does not get sluggish or does not get mitigated, but it gets wiped out. Total wipeout means depression, partial wipeout means recession, and John Maynard has given us the melody, I should say remedy of this melody, and this melody is recession or depression, and remedy is pump priming. So that's all the time we have today. Thank you very much for listening. Tomorrow we're going to talk about something else. Until then, God bless everyone on this planet. Amen.